Welcome back, everybody. Or should I say, are you ready to rumble? Thought I would do something a little different today. I will be taking you back to 1975, Kingston, Jamaica, for one of the more celebrated musical feuds that occurred, with a bunch of answer records being fired back and forth between the concerned parties. I alluded to this incident in my recent Spotlight video on the recently passed reggae producer bunnystrikerlee, who was something of the mastermind behind this incident. Thought it would be fun to go into a bit more detail. First, a bit of background. Musical feuds, something of a hallmark of Jamaican music there from the very beginning, from when the sound systems began to evolve, the 1940s and 1950s. Initially, they were very competitive with each other in terms of strictly musical selections. Once live DJs got up and began chatting lyrics over the mic, it evolved to a different level. There would be clashes between the different ones, where they would be trying to outdo each other with witty lyrics, sometimes taking shots at each other. And one of the more celebrated incidents where this crossed over onto record would happen in the mid-1970s, 1975. A bit of background though, one of the more famous feuds occurred in the early 1960s. The ska days was largely between producer and sound system owner Prince Buster and one of his then star singers, Derrick Morgan, who defected to rival producer Leslie Kong's stable of artists. Prince Buster famously fired a shot at Derrick Morgan and Leslie Kong, a tune called Blackhead Chinaman, accusing Derrick Morgan of being more Chinese than black, which prompted a bunch of answer records back and forth, one of which was Derrick Morgan's Be Still, here on the Blue Beat label, 1962, I believe, in which he says, "Be still, I'm your superior," answering the criticism fired his way. So that was one of the more famous early feuds. Flash forward to 1975, the flying cymbals era of reggae. bunnystrikerlee and his Aggravators band are firing on all cylinders, shooting out hits, pumping out records from the studio. Bunny Lee was called the studio ghost at one point. He remembered one time going into the studio on Friday night and not coming out again until Monday morning, and just working around the clock, sending out for food. What happened was 1975, a record shop owner from Toronto by the name of George, the owner of the large and influential Monica's record shop and also label in Toronto, had traveled to Jamaica, wanted some exclusive tunes from Bunny Lee to promote through his shop. Bunny Lee had one of his DJs, Prince Jazzbo, in the recording booth trying to record some lyrics over a Johnny Clark song. Johnny Clark, one of Bunny Lee's top singers. He had recorded a song called Do You Love Me, which was an update of an earlier song. Jazzbo was struggling with the lyrics, spent about an hour and a half, just couldn't get the tune right. They were paying for studio time, so time was money. Bunny Lee finally hauled Prince Jazzbo. Prince Jazzbo, by the way, DJ, real name Linval Carter. All these DJs had come up performing live on the sound systems, by the way. They were used to having to improvise lyrics, having to adapt to the situation, to whatever musical track they might have to chat or rap their lyrics over. But the recording scene for them was recording to record was relatively new, going back to the late 1960s, and the great pioneer DJ U-Roy, who had first crossed over onto record with the art of the DJ in a big way. So Bunny Lee hauled Prince Jazzbo out of the recording booth after about an hour, and had another DJ, I-Roy, then an up-and-coming DJ, real name Roy Reed, one of the more dapper, flashy DJs. I-Roy, his name somewhat sparking comparison or criticism between the similarity between I-Roy and the earlier U-Roy, though they're quite different in terms of delivery. And as I-Roy would rightfully point out, his real name was Roy Reed, whereas U-Roy was named Ewart Beckford. So Bunny Lee had Iroy take Prince Jazzbo's place at the microphone and had him run off some insults at Prince Jazzbo, ostensibly just as a test run, as just goofing around on the microphone. And the tune that resulted was called Straight to Jazzbo's Head. We'll hear a bit of it here. Voice of Iroy. Don't want to trouble the Gorgon. Nickname for Bunny Lee. Voice of Johnny Clark, the original vocal. Iroy coming in with the chap. Jazzbo, do you hate I? Jazzbo, if you were a jukebox, I wouldn't put a dime in your slot. One of the more famous lyrics from that tune, which was followed by its dub version. That was supposed to be a test run. Bunny Lee put it out as a record. It appeared on the Micron label. It was released. Jazzbo not very happy about all this, understandably. Lyrics taking shots at him, but it was out there. So next, 1 week later, Bunny Lee goes around to Prince Jazzbo and tells him, you know, Iroy put this song out, took these lyrics at you, you need to come back with something at him. So Jazzbo decamps to another studio and records straight to Iroy's head over the classic Studio One, A Love I Can Feel rhythm. This was released on Lee Perry's Black Art label.
Yeah, Jazzbo. Yeah, so what the man hear the tune and boy, Iroy come behind. Well, right now, I saw someone try to play.
Voice of Jazzbo coming in response. The I Love I Can Feel rhythm. Iroy, you a boy. You imitate the great U-Roy. Don't come trouble Prince Jazzbo. Prince Jazzbo never trouble you. Of course, Iroy by this point throws himself with glee, with zest and gusto into the feud and comes back with the next salvo entitled Padlock, which was recorded at the Channel 1 studios owned by the Hu Kim brothers, Chinese Jamaicans, and was released on the Steady label. Tune called Padlock by Iroy.
Good morning. I have a summons here for Princess Jazzbo from Alligator.
Princess Jazzbo, casting aspersions on Jazzbo's masculinity. Little skit.
Jazzbo, wake up. Look like we have a kick down the door, you know.
Jazzbo, did not come.
Sit down yourself, Jazzbo.
I said, sit down yourself, Jazzbo. I might say you sit down yourself. I said, sit down yourself, Jazzbo. I might say you sit down yourself. Look how you follow Strikerlee, get yourself in a trap. Now you
follow Strikerlee, you find yourself in a trap. Now you get flopped.
yourself in a trap. Now you're bound to get flopped. Can't like you should be a member of the Cavity Fighters Club. Why you brush and now pick your teeth and really want to scrub? You see you got to move and groove when I play this number till the daddy come down there. When I'm through with Jazzbo chest, not even ice water he will be allowed to digest as if he's.
When I'm through with Jazzbo chest, not even ice water he'll be allowed to digest. One of the more famous lyrics from that clash. Iroy, kind of the wittiest, most urbane pop culture referencing of the DJs, clearly relishing this clash with Prince Jazzbo. This would be followed again with another salvo from Jazzbo called Galboy Iroy, again casting aspersions on each other's masculinity. Jazzbo comes out swinging.
If DJ was your trade, you wouldn't talk about thinking.
If DJ was your trade,
You run from that parade. I said you run and forget thinking. But why you never run high ride? Because you hopped in from the other day. Say you hop like girl child boy. Because you wear powder on your face.
you act like girl child boy because you wear powder on your face. Taking shots at Iroy's love of fine clothes.
But if I didn't ugly, you wouldn't have the opportunity to call my name in your tune to get promotion. But I don't act like y'all, and I don't go on like y'all.
Says, you say that Jazzbo is very ugly, but if I didn't ugly, you wouldn't have the chance to talk about me on your records to get promotion. Jazzbo coming out strong in this one. Of course, Iroy is not going to be silenced. Comes back with Jazzbo Affy Run. This addressed a real life turn of events that these records took. It was all kind of in jest. Jazzbo maybe less enthusiastic about the whole process than anybody. But what happened in between these next two, this record and the next one, was that an associate of fellow DJ Big Youth named Trevor Lego Beast Douglas took exception with Jazzbo over an earlier clash that Big Youth and Prince Jazzbo had, where there was some accusation of stealing lyrics. Trevor Lego Beast Douglas cornered Prince Jazzbo on the street, cold-cocked him over the head with a glass bottle. He had to dive under a truck, a moving truck that was parked nearby, and hightail it down the street to get away, blood streaming down his face. Iroy, of course, strictly repaired straight away to the studio to report on these events on record with glee, and this became the next volley in the session, Jazzbo Affy Run. Voice of Prince Farai in the intro, and Iroy.
Why you're a tune with the eye, Jazzbo, call you boy. What? Yeah, you know. But if a man call a man a boy, that means the man is a fella, you know, see, and a fella is a flea. That's why I'm flea. Happened on Parade the other day.
It happened on North Parade the other day. Him run past Kincaid. Him couldn't get no first aid.
Jazzbo makes you do that. That's the serious thing.
A serious thing.
A fellow is a flea, that's why you got to flee. Prince Jazzbo and go right down on your knee.
Jazzbo, you down on your knee.
Prince Jazzbo, you got to flee.
Jazzbo, you got to flee.
You like a bumblebee.
Leave my lyrics, you little bumblebee. Next, Jazzbo decided he had had enough of this series of records, but his place was taken by Bunny Lee's brother-in-law, Derrick Morgan, legendary singer from the very early days, from that same feud with Prince Buster in the 1960s. He came out with a song called Iroy the Chinese Come Around, accusing Iroy of being more sympathetic to the Hu Kim brothers, the Chinese Jamaicans from Channel 1 studio, and saying, why you take the Gorgons' belongings and give them to your Chinese friend? Are you a Chinese boy? Are you a black boy? This echoed some of the shots that Prince Buster had taken at Derrick Morgan over a decade before in the 1960s. So what happens? I-Roy comes back out again swinging at Derrick Morgan. Straight to Derrick Morgan's head. I-Roy. Oh, that's the Derrick Morgan. This is the I-Roy.
What, I-Roy? Boy, you want to see screw tree me around from in a Rasta, right? But could you stop here the bill right now? I feel all chill Rasta. Me right through the Pampas smell the boy, Bunny, and the blind eye friend Derrick Morgan, the Bartimaeus one Rasta. What? Blind Bartimaeus, I make a tune about time, man. All right, don't tell me I got to the right now and capture them face. Love, I'm on the fear, yes, love dirty, I will love.
I-Roy relishing all this stuff. Again, not even ice water you could digest. Bringing that up again. I'm a hard bud fi dead. That's referring to a Prince Buster song, Hard Man fi Dead. This bud can't dead. Derrick, I'm a hard bug for dead. You can't kill me. Derrick Morgan, how'd you get yourself in this fix? Right straight to your head. Rough Rider, another Prince Buster song. Be still, I'm your superior. Again, calling back the lyrics to Derrick Morgan's own song from 1962, Be Still, I'm Your Superior, along with lots of references to Prince Buster, who had had that memorable feud with Derrick Morgan in the early 60s. So who won this clash? Some say I-Roy, some say Prince Jazzbo. It's pretty clear Bunny Lee was the real winner, driving up record sales, getting people tuning in to each of these records as they're coming out on 45, 7-inch RPM, 7-inch singles on a weekly basis or whatever it was. So this has been my look at one of the more memorable clashes on record in Jamaican music. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Cheers.